everyone, Sanji Uchiha here. Now welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are doing great, and as you can tell by the thumbnail and title, we'll be having a very interesting power scaling or power discussion when it comes on to Isshiki Otsutsuki. So of course, be sure to rate, comment, and subscribe. This video will contain spoilers for the Boruto manga, so if you're anime only, you know the drill. But if you decide to tune in, welcome all the same. Subscribe, we're on our way to 1,000 subs. I really would appreciate the support, but let's get right into it. So Isshiki Otsutsuki, honestly, with the stage set for Boruto, Naruto, and Sasuke to take on Isshiki Otsutsuki in the Boruto manga with the upcoming chapter 50, I thought it was a perfect time to have a little discussion about Isshiki Otsutsuki and what makes him so ridiculously powerful / dangerous. Granted, we know we can't really talk about exactly what makes him that powerful. We don't know his complete history just yet. But for the most part, he is, I would say, without a shadow of doubt, the most powerful Otsutsuki there is. We know in story right now that he can't use his full power to its maximum potential because he reincarnated within Jigen's body, and it won't be until he gets Kawaki's body that he actually would be able to use his max potential, but he can still use his full power. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So honestly, as far back as when Kawaki just came to the village, we've been having statements from various characters regarding Isshiki's strength. When Kawaki just moved in, we saw him compare Naruto in his six paths enhanced tail beast mode to Isshiki Otsutsuki. Now please be reminded, this is Isshiki when he was still within Jigen's body, so this is a much weaker Isshiki than what Naruto and Sasuke and Boruto are going to go up against now. Now, outside of Kawaki, we do have Kashin Koji, who time and time again has stated that Naruto, the Hokage, just can't get the job done. And even after the fight between Naruto and Delta, Kashin Koji did acknowledge Naruto's ridiculous power, but he did say, yo, it just won't be enough to take out Isshiki. And it wasn't until chapters, I believe it was 37 and 38, that we got to see just why Kashin Koji and Kawaki have made these statements and estimations about Isshiki. In the fight between Naruto and Sasuke versus Isshiki, Isshiki made quick work of them once he attempted to use his quote-unquote full power. Granted, he wasn't going all out, but he attempted to do so. And of course, we do know, for those of you who read the manga, his body as Jigen wasn't able to, hold out, but he did make quick work. He made Naruto and Sasuke seem like nothing. Now please be reminded, this is Naruto and Sasuke at least 15 years after the Fourth Great Ninja War. They've grown substantially stronger, and yes, I know the Boruto era hasn't been doing a good job of showcasing that. I know it's ridiculous, honestly. But objectively speaking, yes, they are stronger. Naruto has the full 9 tails now, along with a bunch of training under his belt. Granted, not any recent training since he's become Hokage, but training nonetheless. And Sasuke has mastered his Rinnegan, and he's done a bunch of missions and training as still in the field for the most part for the last 15 years. So they've both grown substantially stronger compared to their Fourth Great Ninja War counterparts. But that still wasn't enough to defeat a weaker Isshiki than what they're going up against now, which is totally insane in my book, because up until that point, Naruto and Sasuke, I would say, were definitely the strongest, probably one of the strongest set of characters, they were the strongest living characters in the Naruto universe, and Isshiki made quick work of them. And when I say quick, it's like, let me just paint the picture for you. If you don't read the Boruto manga, Isshiki was able to easily bypass the defenses of a 6 paths enhanced perfect Susanoo and a 6 paths, tail beast Naruto with no gimmicks, no tricks, no nothing, just pure physical strength. He was able to bypass Sasuke's defenses, make quick work of Naruto. It was almost embarrassing to watch, honestly, and I know a lot of persons who are really complaining or really had some problems with how Naruto and Sasuke were portrayed in that fight, but that's a discussion for another time. So yeah, and even since then, we've had Kashin Koji go up against even weaker Isshiki Well, granted, we've seen Kashin Koji go up against a weaker Isshiki and a stronger Isshiki than what Naruto and Sasuke went up against. And even though, spoilers, even though Kashin Koji is a clone of Jiraiya, which is younger, he's been modified by Amado, plus perfect Sage mode, he was nowhere close to even beating Isshiki Otsutsuki. And it's insane to say, but Isshiki seems like he's virtually unstoppable until proven otherwise. Now, in terms of his techniques, I'll say they're simple, and this has been said within the universe as well. They're simple, but honestly, they're ridiculously overpowered. They're ridiculously deadly. Sukuna Hikona, hopefully I got that name right, is his ability to essentially shrink himself and other inorganic or inanimate objects. So yes, the weakness of the jutsu is he can't shrink other organic or living beings, but that still doesn't, honestly. The ability to shrink himself to the point where not even a six-paths Naruto, who I would actually label as the greatest sensory ninja of all time, like honestly, based on what we saw in original Naruto or Naruto Shippuden, six-paths Naruto should be like the greatest sensory ninja of all time, and not even Naruto can sense Isshiki when he shrinks himself. Let me put this in perspective for you. Naruto, with the Sage Mode aspect, we know that comes with a major sensory ability. Once Naruto came back to the village in the Pain Arc, he was able to sense most persons in the village. He was able to sense that Kakashi was dead, and Six Paths just brings that up to a whole different level where he can sense things in a different dimension. Madara's Limbo, case in point. With Teal Beast mode, we know he can sense negative emotions. So I mean, it could be bad writing. It could be that Kodachi forgot, but based on what we saw, Naruto is not able to sense Isshiki once he shrinks himself. Also, of course, he's able to shrink jutsus, inanimate objects. We know how it goes already. And with the ability of Dai Kokuten, his secret ability to basically store everything he shrunk in a dimension without time and bring them back instantly, he basically completes his jutsu. It's almost like a Kamui setup like with Obito and Kakashi, but just I would say even better, because with Daikokuten, the fact that you can store jutsus in a different dimension but it doesn't have any time. For example, if he shrinks a Rasen Shuriken and stores it there, it doesn't dissipate, it doesn't disperse once he transfers it, and he can bring back a Rasen Shuriken at any point to do basically anything. So what makes it dangerous is that I would imagine that since Isshiki has been living for at least 1,000 years, I would say he must have shrunk like a bunch of stuff. There's no telling what he's going to bring out in that dimension. And even though his initial jutsu, the Sukuna Ikona, the ability to shrink stuff, has the weakness of not being able to shrink other inanimate objects, or just being able to shrink things that are within his field of view of that eye. I don't know if he can, combine it with his Byakugan and just shrink everything. I don't know. But yeah, the fact that Daikokuten exists, it kind of overcomes that weakness. And we saw that in the fight with Kashin Koji. So, with physical strength, powerful enough to get past most, if not all, of the current Six Paths characters, jutsu that makes it difficult to fight him in a head-on, hand-to-hand fight, I would say, because with Sukuna Hikona and Daikokuten, honestly, fighting Isshiki like up close and personal would be very difficult. We've seen that in the fight with Naruto and Sasuke, where they got chakra rotted for days. Pause. And yeah, it just wasn't efficient fighting him. You just sustained way too much damage way too quickly. It's insane. And not even Naruto or Sasuke can predict the chakra rods, or when he basically brings things back up to full size, it's almost instantaneous. It's ridiculous. So honestly, and I'm pretty sure he's going to have a bunch of more abilities for us to cycle through in this fight. So yeah, all said and done, Ishiki seems virtually unstoppable. He's stronger than most of the six paths characters. He's been hyped up. He's proven himself to be, more than able to back up his, how would they say it? Back up him shots. And he has a pair of ridiculous, simple but deadly abilities to, complement all of that. Now, where the story is going to go, I don't know. How they're gonna deal with him, I don't know. But that's pretty much it. Ishiki, virtually unstoppable. I don't know, people. Like, I know persons would want to see Lee come in and fight him, but it's it's not gonna work. It's honestly at this point it could even be the 10th Yates. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work, people. But anyway, that's all I have for discussion. It's more of a recap, of everything we know about Ishiki power-wise right now. And yeah, I've done how strong characters are before, specifically the new Team 7, and I've had like what? Genin, Chunin, Jonin, Kage, Super Ninja God level, but if there's a tier above God level, that is Ishiki, essentially. So, yeah. But anyway, let me know what you think. That's all I have for this one, people. I'll see you in the next one.